And now it is my pleasure to welcome officially the Democratic leader to say thank you again for coming back to Rhode Island. Nancy Pelosi has led the House Democrats in this very, very challenging moment. It's a reminder that the first thing the Republicans tried to do when they took over was gut the House Ethics Office, and we rallied along with the American people to stop that, and the American people spoke, and they were forced to restore the House Ethics provisions. The second big fight was on health care. Again, they campaigned on repealing the Affordable Care Act, and it was under the leadership of Leader Pelosi that Democrats engaged the American people in this fight, and as a result of people calling and writing and marching, they prevented that from happening, and we're going to need the same response to this tax bill. Leader Pelosi is leading us in that effort to defeat a proposal that will help the people at the very top, devastate programs that are important to working families, and will be paid for, in the end, by cuts to things that matter the most, to really building our economy, building the middle class. We're honored to have her with us today, the Democratic leader of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you very much, David, for your kind words. I accept those compliments on behalf of our entire House Democratic Caucus, as well as our Senate colleagues who were so instrumental in stopping the assault that the Republicans have been making on the Affordable Care Act and other initiatives important to America's middle class. It's my honor to be here in Rhode Island with your distinguished senator, with Senator Reid last evening, two great members of the Senate. You should be very proud of them, I know you are, and with my colleagues, Congressman Langevin and Congressman Cicilline. I'll talk about them in a moment, but first I want to talk about Rhode Island. Thank you, Jim, for mentioning my grandparents met in Pawtucket. Last night someone said to me, "Oh, your grandparents met in Pawtucket. If it weren't for Rhode Island, you wouldn't even be here." Well, and they interpret that any way you want, but nonetheless, I'm happy to be here. Because this is really a model for the country in terms of what we can do to go forward with continuing education, as well as the apprenticeship programs and the rest. Rhode Island is small enough to be resilient, but big enough to be significant in the initiatives that you try here. This community college, and I thank President Hughes for her hospitality and joining and celebrating with the students what they are accomplishing here. This community college is a model for the country and how businesses can task for what they need. The community college can work with the young people to make sure they have the training to go forward. One young man told us he learned about it from his high school. He'd been out of high school a few years, learned about high school, another from real jobs, but whatever method, when young people come here, they learn and are very, according to Ray, a very short period of time. So, a short period of time, skills, training that will enable them to succeed. And when they succeed, it's important for our country. I want to associate myself with the remarks of my colleagues and, of course, our distinguished senator when it comes to the tax bill, but not before commending Congressman Langevin. As we went through here, we saw his good work in terms of the Perkins bill that passed in a bipartisan way recently in the House, hopefully soon in the Senate, which is a resource to the wind tunnel training that is there. And in that vein, nobody in the country is ahead of Senator Whitehouse in being a champion for preserving, protecting our planet, and to do so in a scientifically significant way, the wind tunnel being one example, Rhode Island being an example to the country of how this can be done and how important it is. So I thank them for their leadership. David Cicilline talked about our better deal, but you should know that he was instrumental, elected by our colleagues to put together our priorities, write our message, continue to refine it. A better deal, better jobs, better pay, better future for our country. And that better future means growing middle class, which is the backbone not only of our economy, but the backbone of our democracy. This is a moment of truth for our country. This is a place where we can take one path or another into the future. One is about creative leadership, as Carnegie would say, to enable people to thrive and reach their fulfillment. The other, exploitive, by the rich and powerful for their own gain at the expense of the great mass of people. Under this bill, as our colleagues have said, the middle class will pay more. Under this bill, future generations will pay more because the deficit will explode. And why? To get a tax cut, $1.5 trillion tax cut to corporate America. We all understand that we want to sit down in a bipartisan way to review our tax code and perhaps lower the corporate rate, whatever will create growth, create good paying jobs, and reduce the deficit. This bill that the Republicans are reviewing today does none of the above. It increases taxes on millions of middle-class families while saying it doesn't. It blows up the deficit while saying it's going to pay for itself. It never has, it won't, and even some of their people admit that it won't. And at the same time as the president's traveling on trade and this or that, in Asia, it says to corporate America, if you create jobs overseas, you get a tax break over creating jobs in the U.S. Did I hear that as a campaign promise of President Trump? Grow jobs overseas and pay less taxes than establishing a factory in Rhode Island. So this is absolutely appalling. Since we're in an education center, I just want to say a couple things about what it does. That's macro, unfair, explodes the deficit, taxes the middle class, sends jobs overseas. Unfair. In the micro, in terms of education, this tax plan, as the Senator indicated, is part of a budget. A budget that says that we're going to take $1 trillion out of Medicaid, $500 billion out of Medicare, we're going to cut education, this or that. A devastating budget. A budget should be a statement of our national values, what's important to us as a nation, should be reflected in how we allocate our resources. Their budget does just the opposite. But in this tax bill itself, which is, again, as the Senator said, the budget bill set the stage for it. In this tax bill that they are considering today, consider this. In the present system, a person paying off student loans can deduct $2,500 in interest on student debt. That is taken out. So you can get a tax cut to the wealthiest people in America. If you're a teacher and you bring supplies to school because you need art supplies and things that the school district just can't afford, under the present system, the teacher can deduct what she or he spends on those school supplies. They take that out in order to give a tax cut to the wealthiest people in America. I mean, just to see the mean spirit of it in a micro form. Also, in terms of families, if you adopt a child right now, you get a tax credit to help with the expenses. If that child happens to have special needs, you get more of a tax credit. That is eliminated. You get tax cuts to the wealthiest people. And, by the way, if you incorporate with your company, if your employer helps you with the adoption, they would get a deduction. That is eliminated. Another act of cruelty. But let's take it right back here to this place. If a corporation is having spends resources for training, lifetime training of employees, that is taken out of the tax bill, that deduction. So what is this? It's about an old way of thinking of a plutocracy, an oligarchy, of the rich get richer, and take away the ladders of opportunity, and they have an economy of the silver spoon. It's just not right. That's why I say it's a moment of truth. The Senator said we need clarity in how we do the debate in the Congress, and that clarity means telling the truth to the American people and making the distinction when they say it's House America. They give you a little bit and then they take it away with the other hand. As the distinguished Mr. Cicilline said, they have a banquet for themselves, they put scraps to one cut. But even worse than that, they even take the scratch back by removing these deductions that are affected. Now, much has been said about the fact that this is not a partisan. I don't like to spend too much time on the process, except when the process is such that it's done with the speed of light in the dark of night so that nobody knows what's in the bill and how it affects them. This is totally wrong. And not only that, we're not letting them get away with the fact is, oh, they did this 30 years ago. No, they didn't do this 30 years ago. This is being done in a matter of days. 30 years ago, it took years. They had over 400 people come testify for every aspect of the bill. They had over 30 hearings. They worked with the President in bipartisan way with President Reagan to get a bill that would be sustainable over time. Now it's overdue that we revisit it. Let's do it the same way, in a way that is bipartisan and will be one election, you win, so keep changing it. Business community needs certainty. And so many people in corporate America said, while we might benefit from this bill, we're worried about what it does to our employees. So that gives us hope. So this is a fight that we have. It is, as I said, a moment of truth about what path our country will go down. Will it be a path that is about the middle class and bubbles up our economy, or a trickle down which has never really succeeded as they have done before? So again, I salute Senator Whitehouse for what he has done, Senator Reid in the Senate on these issues, my colleague Tim Langevin and my colleague David Cicilline for putting forward in a unified way, House and Senate Democrats, a better deal, better jobs, better pay, a better future for our country. And once again, thanks Rhode Island Community College, not only for their hospitality, but their leadership in training our recruits for the future. That, we go back to the distinguished Mr. Cicilline.
We're happy to take some questions.
David Pelosi, Assistant Representative Cicilline, you started with a moment of silence. I was hoping you could give your response to this weekend's latest shooting, what you think about the President's response, and what you think should be done moving forward, no matter if anybody else wants to jump in.
With all due respect to your question and to do justice to it, can we just talk about this first and then, as we began with a moment of silence, to end on this very somber, which is affecting us all very deeply. And when these are horrible, but children. So just stay with the
So I wanted to ask a different question too. I wanted to ask what you thought of Donna Brazil's.
Well, let's save that for later too.
Senator Pelosi, on the tax issue, have you gone to your Republican colleagues and asked to be a part of the conversation, and what have they said to you? And the second part is there anything in the bill that you like, that if this became bipartisan, if they realized they need Democratic votes and they came to you and Senator Schumer, is there anything in the bill that you like? The standard deductions doubling, anything?
The standard deductions level, the deduction is a farce. They say that as an advertising point, but then they increase taxes on the very same people, but what they do. And I'm a mother of 5 children, 9 grandchildren, but 5 grandchildren. If you have more than 2 children, you already zapped in this bill. But there are many other reasons as well. No, this bill is not reconcilable because it's predicated on a budget that takes us deeply in debt, trillions of dollars in debt in the first 10 years, which is what they are presenting, that they're committed to that, except they're saying they'll pay for it themselves, which never has happened. But in the next 10 years, as other colleagues will tell you, we always have to account for 20-year impact on the budget. First 10 years, trillions of dollars in debt. The next 10 years, a hemorrhaging of debt so great that it's almost no coming back from it. This is totally irresponsible. What you have to do is go to the table, tabula rasa, forget your political philosophy, whatever it is, just say, we want to have growth, good paying jobs to reduce the debt. Let's subject every suggestion to that scrutiny. Is it in furtherance of that, of those priorities? This bill doesn't go anywhere near there. And again, with all of the mean-spirited deductions in families, whether it's their student loans, whether, what did I mention, there's medical expenses, that's been a deduction since 1944, no longer there. Why? Because they said we doubled your deduction, I don't want to handle that. So no, but do we want to work in a bipartisan way? We always have. That's not what they have in mind. Because they have in mind something that is, they want to cut Medicare. They think it should wither on the vine. They want to do away with Medicaid. We don't have shared priorities in that regard, and the American people should realize that, and then they would understand why it's easy for them to get $1 trillion deduction to corporate America while cutting $1 trillion from Medicare. So no.
So let's speak Ryan and say we want to do bipartisan, and what is that?
But that's not, that's it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to you, but that's not quite how it was. It was like, we have won the election, our major donors rule, and this is the bill they want. Why else would they say to people of Rhode Island, you can no longer deduct your state and local tax deductions? That's called SALT. And as the senator said, they add salt to the wound by saying, but corporations can. Understand that they consider this a victory for their political philosophy. And I want to just make one more point about it. Those who espouse trickle-down supply-side economics, which is important, have come to us and publicly stated, we never said this would pay for itself. Bruce Bartlett, who was one of the strongest advocates for this trickle-down, said we never said it will pay for itself. Anybody who tells you that you get it back in economic growth, that's nonsense, it's not true, and it's bull-mess. That's what he said. Sort of.
So how many reasonable Republicans are there in the House that are listening to your logic?
Well, the question is, and as Congressman Cicilline said, we depend on the public. We can be as organized and mobilized inside maneuvering to stay unified in the House and Senate to fight them because it's a different value system. But without the outside mobilization, we would never been able to defeat their assault on the Affordable Care Act. Never. The outside mobilization is everything. So he hears me quote, they hear me quote all the time, President Lincoln said, public sentiment is everything. With it, you can accomplish almost anything, without it, almost nothing. So the question is, are they listening to the donor class, or are they listening to their constituents?
Or how many are there that you think are listening to their
Well, hopefully
constituents?
24.
25.
Do you think you'll have those
Well, let
24?
me just say this. In California, there are 14 Republican members of Congress. We have 39 Democrats, 14 Republicans. And in their districts, they are royally ripping off their constituents. Their constituents are going to pay higher taxes in terms of property tax, in terms of state and local tax, and the rest. But they're trying to keep the truth from them. And we are making sure the clarity that the senator called for is there. How could they possibly respond to their constituents that they did not raise their taxes when it is so clear that they have the moment of truth is here?
You brought an alternate plan to the table and said this is better, it's a rotten tax code, it needs fixing, here's our alternate plan.
But we've always said that it has to be bipartisan. So a better approach would be to go to the table together to do this. But we have said, we have had principles, and perhaps David would like to speak to them. And let me just say, part of our better plan is a better deal, better job, better pay, better future. But David wants to speak.
Well, I just want to, I want to say very specifically, because I know people don't like to talk about process, but it's really important to understand that, the tax code is very complicated. And so when there's been real reform in the past, it's required careful study, careful analysis, a long process where there's hearings and consideration. The Republicans in the House right now are trying to jam this through before Thanksgiving. In fact, some of their members hadn't even seen the bill because they recognize that the more people learn about it, the less they like it, because the more they understand that this is being driven by big corporations, by the wealthiest people in this country, and hurts working families. And so we have articulated for a long time a set of principles. Look, Democrats think that our tax code is complicated, unfair, and is in need of reform. And we have always been willing to sit with our Republican colleagues and develop a plan that does that, so long as it strengthens the middle class, provides relief to working families, makes sure everyone's paying their fair share, protects Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, Pell Grants, rebuilding our infrastructure, and does not, and reduces the debt. So we have a set of principles, a number of great Democratic ideas. There has never been an interest by the Republicans to talk to Democrats, let alone contemplate developing a bipartisan tax bill. In fact, they didn't even share with some of their own members. Their interest is to get this through as fast as they can to frankly fool the American people, to reward kind of the donor class of the Republican Party, and it will really be devastating for our economy. And to the leader's point, just that one example, that you get to deduct your state and local taxes if you're a big corporation, but they deny that to working families. That's just one illustration.